Today I'm going to talk about my complete Simon Hanselmann collection. There is a slight asterisk kind of thing next to that because this isn't everything. Just because I want to keep this video a little bit concise. I've already done a video about Hanselmann's art book, the special edition, and there's a few of his very easy to get books from Fantagraphics available in all good bookshops, even in the UK, because a lot of people don't think you can get them in real life. I don't understand that. So I'm not going to kind of highlight too much the graphic novels with ISBNs and barcodes and that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. This is kind of mostly the self-published stuff, harder to find stuff. And this really is definitely not in any way close to a full Hanselmann collection. He has a ton of stuff that just isn't available, hasn't been reprinted, hasn't been put in a collection, and he doesn't really seem in any rush to do anything like that, which is fine. That's his choice. So I don't have the dailies, a Australian newspaper where he started to draw Megg's Coven, and then I think when that does, if that ever does come out, he will redraw that, I'd imagine, because that's probably 10 years old now. Sorry, I keep finding stuff. There was so much I missed out on the Noah videos that I'm just going to have to do a part 5 at some point. I just keep finding more and more stuff. Okay, so yeah, so this isn't everything. If you really want to try and get everything, good luck, because it would just be impossible and cost you stupid amounts of money. I don't have the mold map that Simon's in, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff, but yeah. Okay, so we'll start off. This isn't going to be in any kind of order like the Noah video. Okay, so I got into Hanselmann, I would say very late, just before COVID, when he started to do Crisis Zone. And this is one of his easy to get books. A lot of people wonder, like, which order do you read Simon Hanselmann's chunky books, graphic novels, whatever you want to call them. There is an order. Look it up. This is the one to start with. This is where I started. I was in OK Comics in Leeds in the UK in 2019. Just went to see the Mountain Goats, and I just really wanted to buy something, and I flipped through Simon's work and I wasn't into it, and I just picked this up kind of on a whim, and it sat on my shelf for a few months, and then one night I started to pick it up and read it, and found it to be like just such a funny comic, and just fell in love with all the characters. So many like iconic key stories in this one. And then from there, whilst Simon started to put out Crisis Zone on Instagram, I began hunting and gathering Simon's other work. So I'm going to completely jump around in like time order and things like that. But before Crisis Zone came out, if you don't know, this is another of his books that's really easy to get hold of. If you see all these minis and you're like, I'll never get all these minis, most of it is in Seeds and Stems. Sorry, these floorboards are so creaky. Yeah, this is a huge chunky book, and this collects loads of Simon's out of print zines and kind of explains where they all come from. I try to just collect his zines that haven't been collected in here, but there's probably 4, 5 that have been collected in Seeds and Stems. And this arrived with Seeds and Stems. Fantagraphics do a lot of incentives with Hanselmann's work, whereas if you buy the book directly from publisher, you'll get like a free exclusive mini comic or something. And I like the kind of cohesiveness with the pill bottle, and they're trapped in like drug world. And yeah, so this arrived with Seeds and Stems, and inside you get a mini comic, which is really, really tiny. And I mean, like, I don't know how Fantagraphics kind of signed off on this, because they must have worried about a lot of this going through the mail, I'd imagine. So push down and turn. So yeah, there is a exclusive mini comic in there. We're a bit short on time. I have a stack to get through, so maybe another time that'll get its own little video. And then his next big available publication, I know I said I wasn't really going to talk about these, but there's a few reasons why these ones specifically. Crisis Zone came out. It was gigantic. It was hugely popular, and it is a gigantic story as well. That came in a nice like cardboard box if you got that direct from publisher. And this also came with it, a 2022 action calendar. This artwork's not been collected elsewhere. It's kind of like a what happens after Crisis Zone. Yeah, there's a few. I'm really trying to flash through this because the Noah videos combined I think are like well over an hour. I'd like to keep this all as one video. But yeah, a bunch of really nice artwork. I think a lot of stuff on this page I've read. A lot of it is really solid reads. Recommended by Hanselmann. This was kind of the fake front cover, just used early for bookshops. This is a free print that came through Gosh Comics. If you got the Hypnotic Midday Monday art book from them, published by Mansion Press in France. Okay, let's fly through this because there is so much. Okay. These got collected. Well, all of these three have been collected. The Werewolf Jones and Sons, those have been collected into a big, readily available Werewolf Jones book, again through Fantagraphics. The front and back artwork wasn't collected, and I think that's a shame because I think they're really nice. But I think like everything was collected in that pretty much. And if you picked the Werewolf Jones and Sons big collection up through Fantagraphics, you got the Werewolf Jones Guide to Parenting. Flick through this quickly. So it's a lot of just like illustrations with a lot of text, not comics. Yeah. And did I say that the Werewolf Jones was a collab with the Werewolf Jones minis, and the trade was a collab with Josh Pettinger, and this was one of the collabs, and Simon Hanselmann's story in this is now collected into Josh's Fantagraphics book. Sorry, I'm trying to get through so much. Yeah, wow. I hope this doesn't get taken down. Teeny Tiny Mini. This was collected in Seeds and Stems. And Hanselmann always does, like, he'll add stuff unique to each zine. He'll put on like authenticity stickers, fake blood splatters on Below Ambition. This was a mini just by itself for a long time, and then the story got bulked out and coloured, and it got collected into another Fantagraphics book where you still kind of get the nice fake blood splatters. So same comic, more pages, and in colour. This came with a flexi 7-inch disc. At least for the first print run, I think. Once it goes to second print, I don't know if they'll do that again. And believe it's still on its first print. Another nice print from Mansion Press. Only got the art book directly from them. They sent it me at least. And Below Ambition, if you're a fan, you already know. It's based on a band. Well, in the Mogg universe, Megg and Werewolf Jones play in a band called Horsemania, which is based on a real band, Horsemania, which was Simon and his friend Carl. And this is something I got through Silent Army in Australia, where, if you don't know, Hanselmann is from, and they used to do a bunch of releases with him that's now very impossible to get. So yeah, there are only 300 of this, and it just came with like a mini zine of their, like, explaining who they were, and I think Hanselmann said himself the music's hard to listen to. I guess that's fair. It's not the worst thing. I think it's intentionally unpleasant. Okay, Megahex 2020 Winter Trauma Annual with another sticker and a stamp. I can't remember off the top of my head if this, yeah, this is collected in Seeds and Stems. But you don't get all this stuff if you're a big dweeb. I mean, Hanselmann definitely has enough to do a Seeds and Stems 2, probably a Seeds and Stems 3 if he really wanted to put absolutely everything out. If he was ever strapped for cash. Some Knife Crime, again, pretty sure this is in Seeds, but this these pages, the pink mini comic, these aren't in Seeds. So I think he didn't want to like rip fans off that have been collecting all of his zines when Seeds and Stems came out. So like a lot of the cover and back artwork and kind of inside back pages didn't get put in Seeds and Stems. Romance stamp. I don't know. Hanselmann's a good example of why zines are just really cool. Different textures, different paper types, stickers and stuff. It makes it feel really special. I picked this up because I thought, because this is called Entertainment, I was like, that's not in Seeds and Stems. I need to pick that up. And picked it up through a friend in Europe, and was like, oh, I already have this. Another sticker. Okay. So these were Fantagraphic incentive mini comics that you could only get through picking up certain Hanselmann books at the time through Fantagraphics directly. A lot of it is odds and ends, But again, a lot of this stuff hasn't been put anywhere else. I know there's like one in one of these white comics where Hanselmann said like, don't you dare put that online. So if I come across it, I'll try and flash by. So probably all of this is, I think all of this is now in seeds of inessential garbage, at least. Maybe not that. I don't think that is. I'm not sure about that. Early digital coloring. So obviously this came with Mega Hex. And just as I was getting into Hanselmann, really kind of as COVID was coming along, I think a lot of people, I think we're coming up to the comics I'll flash by. This is the comic. Yeah. As I was getting into Hanselmann, I think a lot of people were as well, writing the COVID comics, and I'm pretty sure they stopped doing these white exclusive comics now. So I'm really glad I got them at the time when overseas shipping was a lot more bearable to deal with, because right now it's impossible. Tried to order a comic from a US cartoonist, 2 copies for me and a friend to the UK. Shipping was going to be like $46. So I said no. Okay. See, I'm already convinced that there's some things I can't find, but okay, we'll get to what Hanselmann is currently serializing. Yes. So, in all of Hanselmann's big books, the Fantagraphics books, he kind of says a lot in the intro or outro. Coming next is Megg's Coven, and he's been saying that for 10 years now. And I'm not judging him like for that's not like a diss. I just I think it's a lot of Hanselmann's work is based in real things that have happened, and I think it's a bit too close to the bone for him to look at. It's like a very sad story. I think he's like, I'd rather do something else. So he started doing these comics, and currently available, there are 3 issues. Well, these are out of print right now, but I think he's reprinting them all with an issue 4. And it's a zombie comic, in short. A zombie apocalypse just starts out of the blue, and Owl's like coming home from work, and it all just kicks off. And we're just watching it in real time, like how that's all going down. Incredible. I think the second print run of this, the back matter is different, but I don't have a second copy. They're like, the covers are the title here, And here are like stickers that Hanselmann's put on, so he's still keeping up with that extra nice touch. I'm not going to get too far into this. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Yeah, okay. Is that issue 2? Yeah. Issue 3 is genuinely such a heavy story. So if you have not read that, but you're going to pick it up when it comes back, genuinely proceed with caution. It's definitely the darkest thing Hanselmann's ever written. Quality pictures. I explained this one in one of the Noah videos, so you'll have to watch that to get the backstory if you don't know. This was edited by Hanselmann and Josh Pettinger, and Hanselmann's story in here was put, I think, at the end of issue 3 of this one. Sorry, there's a car backfiring. Okay. This is Portrait and Landscape, 2 mini comics, which were kind of a comment on the comics industry, comic conventions, kind of shit talking like publishers, but also putting the spotlight on publishers that have like done fucked up things. These haven't been collected anywhere, and they're really chunky. They're not like super fun. This is a good one. This is about what No Brow did. It's just it's a direct, like, word for word copy of the email that they sent around. You can probably dig that up on X, and yeah, it's a long time old history. If you know, you know. I think I remember this one being a bit more like the characters are actually having fun rather than just kind of commenting on stuff. Almost at the end of the mini comics now, and I think honestly these two, Decade and Hypnotic Midday Movie, before the art book with the same title came out, I think these are the two, if you're going to try and get hold of anything, get hold of Decade. And Hypnotic Midday Movie is also pretty cool, because these have stuff in that I don't think has been collected anywhere since. Definitely not for Decade. Hold on, I think has the camera quality just suddenly changed? I feel like it doesn't look as good. That's gigantic. Do you know what? We're gonna work with that for now. Okay, so this is number 5 of 100. Does that say? Wow, I don't think I realized that. I don't know. I think that's better. Yeah. Okay, so this came out winter 2025. So pretty old now, 10 years old. Again, definitely some stuff. This is in Seeds and Stems. Bunch of this definitely isn't. Some original scrap artwork. Yeah, just a lot of kind of like loose ideas going on. So it's a goodie. It's a good one to get if you can. I've seen that come up once, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get it at a very reasonable price. Decade came in a nice baggie with like a artist's used ink coloring tissue, and I think signed at the. This is really hard to get out. But I have to get this out because this is the coolest one, I think, because okay, so this is numbered, but it doesn't tell you how many there were. But there's stuff in here that are like fully realized comics. I love that intro page. Yeah, this is 10-year anniversary special. Boys in Prison is due out very soon, which is a 10-year anniversary of Megg coming out. Hanselmann's like first big book from Fantagraphics. So like outtakes, like sketches, ideas. Really like stuff like this every year would be amazing from any cartoonist. It's like working on how the layout will go for Megg. This was a this is the coolest part of Decade, I think. Is this is a 10-pager that's not been collected elsewhere, and it was for like a free comic book day thing. It's definitely like as Hanselmann, like as you've never seen him before. I love this kind of stuff. It's so nice. That was in one of the white Fantagraphic minis. Yikes. Okay. Right. Gonna jump around a bit. These are some Hanselmann pins. Floating, sorry, not Floating World, Secret Headquarters do a lot of collabs with Hanselmann. This was a long out of print comic, and Hanselmann like posted the cover on Instagram. People went nuts for it, so he re-released it with a few extra pages, and it's a saucy one. Yeah, I don't know if I can show any of this. That's it. I think I forgot there were pictures in there. 2 Fantagraphics free comic book day comics. See if I can find Hanselmann's. So one of the many ways in which they're kind of talking about Werewolf Jones dying. I think he's died about 6 times at this point. This is in something called Truth Zone. This is just a colored page for it, I believe. I'll get to Truth Zone soon. Again, there was other stuff like in I did a video on HTML flowers where there's a page, like a splash page, I guess, by Hanselmann. This has a 1-page comic story featuring Simon kind of drawing Fonte Bukowski. Yeah, Fantagraphics used to do that a lot more. Like in the back of Hip Hop Family Tree, like loads of artists did pages at the back. I think like Noah drew the Beastie Boys, I think, yeah, a bunch of stuff. This is really worth getting if you're a hardcore fan. Really good interview. Pages from Girl Mountain that you're going to struggle to find anywhere else. Girl Mountain was Hanselmann's first comic, big comic, at 100 pages. Never got published. I'm not really sure where this interview starts, so I kind of wanted to skim right through the start. Okay, gonna fly through this. This was really good to read because some of his comics are really dark, and I thought, is he laughing about these things? And then reading this, it contextualized it, and it was like, no, these are things me and my friends have experienced. Talks about like his mum's drug addiction very openly, not just in this interview. It kind of made me see the characters and the storyline and where it's going in a very different way. This is some pages from Girl Mountain. Yeah, just a really big, long interview. Many pages. Worth picking up. Kramer's 10. This was in the Noah video. It's also in this video because you've got this gigantic one from Hanselmann that wasn't collected anywhere else. Even though this came out before Seeds and Stems, I think he wanted like people who bought this just for like to get the Hanselmann exclusive, not to feel like ripped off, because this came out just a little bit before Seeds and Stems came out. Okay. This is Performance by Floating World. Gigantic. Yeah, I can't even fit it on the camera. Let's see. That's too much. Yeah, I think I did a video on this, so I will just quickly flash through this one. I don't know if I said in the last video, so some of these are like homages to really famous paintings. I always think this one looks like the picture of Ben Affleck smoking outside like a restaurant. It's a good one. A lot of this was put into the art book. This doesn't have anything exclusive to it, but this was the first way any Crisis Zone was published. That's nothing exclusive there. And then, lastly, Truth Zone, which was an online webcomic. There's a bunch of history to it. Yeah, loads of pages. Really chunky thing. Hard to read because it's all in single sheets. I do work in a bookshop, so I do sometimes see upcoming projects, but then also sometimes projects that are abandoned. And like if something's cancelled by the publisher, and I'm not sure if it was this Truth Zone or if it was these two, and maybe there was whispers of like a third one in this trilogy. But there were talks of one of these being collected in some way, or maybe all combined. So even with those two portrait landscapes in Truth Zone, this is easily a couple hundred pages of stuff that's just not readily available. I really don't have time to get into all of this. Yeah, lots of notes. Had almost like a Chester Brown length of notes. And then these are all comics about comics. And yes, this is like hard to get, and people might be like envious. I would be envious. I know I would be if I didn't have this. But it's not all that. Like it really isn't. And this was not cheap. This is, I think this cost me, I think, 70. It was a lot. Tried to like keep them in order as well. I have kept them in order. So yeah, just a bunch of stuff, just talking about like a delivery comes from Breakdown Press in the UK, and they just talk about like their books, or they talk about like comics shit that's happening like in real time as it was happening and coming up. So it's more kind of like a gossip rag, I guess. Also, Breakdown Press are amazing. Should definitely check them out if you don't know them. Their stuff's like readily available all around the world as well. Yeah, so is that Joe Matt? Looks a bit like Joe Matt. I think it is John Matt, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, one day I should probably get this bound or something so I can read it a lot easier. But yeah, there's no like epic story at the end or anything. It's all just on kind of bog standard printed paper, kind of slightly laminated, which, yeah. That's definitely like a very Girl Mountain kind of character. Comic book guy. But yeah. Oh, and there's like another 4-pager comic that's not been collected elsewhere in We Told You So, the Fantagraphics book about Fantagraphics. About when Simon Hanselmann marries comics and kisses Gary Groth. So yeah, that's it. That really is it. That's my entire Hanselmann collection until I end this video, and I'll look over and realize there's something else. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what's your favorite Hanselmann stuff and what you're looking forward to that he's got coming up, and what your like treasured items of his work is. Thanks, bye.